Yeah, motivational interviewing is was part of the training that I did for integrative medicine. So it was part of the fellowship that I did. But you can actually get motivational interviewing training through other courses too.
Yeah, I think that could be helpful for any kind of clinician, right? It'd be helpful for to learn that because really, as a provider, what all you're really trying to do is change habits, and in order to change habits, you kind of have to understand the human psyche and the motivation as to why we do things, right?
Absolutely. And I also think it's super helpful for keeping the provider from feeling burned out, right? Because
Mm.
if you realize that they're pre-contemplative, you're not going to be like, okay, you need to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. They're not even thinking about it. They're not ready to, commit to that prescription. So then it kind of decreases the frustration of when they come back and they haven't done your prescribed um regimen. You're not going to feel as disastrous. Oh, I didn't do a good job. They weren't ready. So I really like it, and it's a great tool that I teach my trainees too.
Do you feel like that was a large like switch in your own mindset as well as your change in like how successful patients did when you started like getting into the realm of like motivation and behavioral changes? Because like you said, you described it as like you need to start eating 7 different types of vegetables every week, and in my realm, it's you need to start doing this exercise, these 3 exercises 2 to 3 times a day, and do this repetitive times. And they're like, I haven't worked out since '82, man. Like, I don't know why you think I'm gonna start doing this now. And so, did you see a giant change in the success with like some of your patients, at least like adhering to a diet or like feeling better about anxiety about school on Monday?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I think so the process of motivational interviewing is you want to move them through that readiness for change a scale from pre-contemplative to contemplative to planning to action. And so I will document in my chart to myself, like had a discussion about eating greens and patient is at the planning stage. So, okay, then I know next time I'll say, what plan did you make? Like, are you ready to actually commit now? Whereas, previous to my training, I would just say, eat those vegetables and come back and see me.
Right.
And so it definitely relieves a little bit of the burden, but then also the training also teaches you how to move them along that scale. So if you find that they're really pre-contemplative or just contemplative, you want to say, well, what are the barriers? And then you explore that in the time instead of being like, what vegetables are you going to eat? What are the barriers to getting those vegetables, or why not? And you can also talk about how confident are you in like even getting to the grocery store, right? Okay, if your confidence is 2, why aren't you so confident in exploring what can bring you to a 5? And then just moving the scale just a little bit. People surprise me, and then the next time they're like ready for action.
Mm, that's great. Yeah, I like that a lot. And how has your interview style changed, or at least are you being more precise in the type of questions that you're asking, or are you trying to keep it more like open ended and just see where the conversation goes?
One of the biggest changes for me after integrative medicine training was being comfortable with silence. And, sometimes patients will not have an answer to a question that might be tough or challenging. And as providers, we are terrible with silence. In general, I think we give patients 11 seconds before we chime in and ask the next question.
Right.
But sometimes the beauty really is in that turning of the wheels, right? And so being a little bit more comfortable with the silence and then knowing when to accept that pause and let it hang and let it be a little bit uncomfortable has given some really great insight into what's going on with my patients. The other thing I think is heart space, just having the space in my own sort of being to be present with the patient and allowing them to tell the story. I think as clinicians, we are always on the clock. we are like always worried about running late. Oh gosh, this next patient's there. They were already checked in. I'm running, 20 minutes behind. The beauty about my consults in integrative medicine is I have the luxury of time. So I have the time to sit there and actually really do the deep dive, get to know the patient. And then sometimes the answer to their problem may just be in the history, like I said earlier. And so just for me, being willing to hear and open to hear their story really helps me.